Hi guys. As most of you know, I'm back at my hometown for a month, which is Jakarta in Indonesia. And a lot of people think that it's the same thing as going to Bali. So a lot of people were saying, oh, like you're gonna have fun and you're gonna party and it's just gonna be like every single time I'm at Bali. But it's actually very different in Jakarta. Even though the cities are not that far apart, it's very very different. They That's why when I was like dreading to come here was actually because I haven't been here in 6 or so years. And the last time I came back, I was with my dad and my mom and my two siblings. And so a lot has changed from before. My experiences before, like I always had um, my family around me. I was always going out with my dad, going out with my mom, like going to restaurants, and just constantly being involved in activities. And I'm not really having much of a choice of things, like being like 13, 14. Like I was constantly like being dragged out to go here and there or like whatnot. And now going back as an adult and being with just my mom and my siblings and staying at Cibubur, which is actually not where I was ever staying the 6 years ago. I was staying in Kelapa Dua, and now that I'm over here, um, it's unfamiliar. Like I'm staying at my grandpa's house, and um, I have no recollection of this place. The last time I was here, like probably in this house, like staying here, was when I was like a baby. So obviously I have no memory of ever staying in this place. And same goes for my family. And due to a lot of complications, I actually never met most of my mom's side of the family. And so coming here was kind of like joining us all again so that we can all repair like old wounds and all that. So that's why mom wanted to come here for a month. And so yeah, I met family that I until now never really knew existed, including my two uncles. And that was interesting. It was interesting meeting cousins that I never knew I had either. And yeah, a lot of this month is family orientated. That's what I associated Jakarta with, all the time. Since coming here as a child, it was always family time. Whereas, that's why it's completely different from Bali, because like this is a personal scale. Like, in Bali, I have my favorite auntie there, her husband, and cousins that I'm really close with from like ages ago, and my grandmother is there too. So that's why my experience in Bali is a bit more like free. And because my mother trusts me with that auntie, she's like a surrogate mother of mine, so I'm always there by myself. And that's the main difference. Like if I'm in Jakarta, I'm always with family. Like I've never been here by myself, and I don't think I'd ever be allowed to. Whereas yeah, in Bali it's like back and forth, like, and my auntie is very free spirited, so my lifestyle there is more or less like a wild youth, and whatnot. And I can go out, like it's very free. Like I can go out just crossing the road because I live near the bypass. So I live in Sanur, so I can like cross the road and visit like McDonald's, Jkt donuts, and like Circle K and everything. Like everything's in reach, and I am permitted to to take a walk, and I'm not terrified of getting kidnapped or sold for, human trafficking and whatnot. But in Jakarta, it's like I'm trapped, like I'm some 12-year-old. It's as if I haven't grown up in the past 6 years that I was here last. It's the same feeling. It's like I'm the kid, and I can't go and experience everything that there is to offer. Like, I can't just ask to be dropped at the beach, or I'm not allowed to just go and wander about and buy street food and just little things like seeing the market, or catch a taxi to somewhere we're ready to go, if it's not like, if I can't walk there. And it's a bit frustrating because my association with Indonesia is that it's like the freedom of that's my home as well as Australia. So when I'm stressed in Australia and whatnot, like, I go to Bali and I do what I want to do. And so it's kind of upsetting that when I go to Jakarta, it's like just feeling really restricted, and that's why it's not, for me, as enjoyable as it is to go to Bali. Like, Jakarta's more family time, and the protection, and like my grandpa's really, really protective of me. And yeah, I mean, it's a different taste for me. Being in Australia, I only have a few relatives there, and even then I don't see them very frequently. And so, like, being here, and we live in the same complex, so it's like I literally just have to walk less than 20 meters to go see my cousin and say hey, and see my uncles and my aunties and stuff like that. And like, sometimes, like, if I want to eat dinner like over there, I'll go and eat dinner over there instead of eating dinner in this house, my grandpa's house. And it's like, it's freedom in terms of like family, and it's comforting, and it's something that I've never been accustomed to have family at my reach. But yeah, it's definitely something I'm going to take in and not take for granted, because coming back in Australia, I don't know when I'm next going to go to Jakarta, and it's just going to be me time all the time, as it's always been. So I'm taking it in one day at a time for this month. So yeah. And aside from my personal scale, the difference between Jakarta and Bali on my personal level, it's also more to do with the culture and religion, first of all, because in Bali, the majority of the population is Hindu, and yeah, you can see that in like the temples and the statues and the ornaments, and the little offerings that you see on the street and on the pavements and stuff like that. Yeah, but whereas in Jakarta, majority are either Christian or Islam, and I think about 90% of them are Islam. And so you'll see like the wearing of the hijabs and the burqas and whatnot, and the praying at like particular times, and the troubling difference for me is in Bali, you're free to wear whatever you want, and people won't look at you in any sort of judgmental, critical way. Like, it's hot, it's understandable, and there's tourists everywhere, and you're free to wear even just singlets or shorts, and you're free to wear those. But in Jakarta, the vibe that people give you is that you shouldn't wear anything revealing anything, because I'm gonna get really probably politically incorrect here, but um wearing a singlet to me makes me feel like a slut when I'm here. Like, the way they look at me is like, I can't even, like, I went to a restaurant the other night with my mom, and I was wearing a short skirt and long socks, and like, that's my fashion, that's what I wear, and I'm free to practice it, like, Jesus. And like, yeah, I couldn't even eat my food properly because they were like staring at me and making me feel very uncomfortable. And I don't appreciate that. Like, I'm free to wear what I want, and I'm here for a month, and you should mind your own business. Like, that's my perspective. Like, I understand that. I understand the culture. I do, like, firsthand. I have close friends who are Islamic, and I have family. Like, some sides of my family are Islam. So I know how it goes, like, firsthand, and I just would prefer it if that's your culture, so you express that with yourself and your body, with what you want to wear and how you live, but you don't negatively impose that on other people. Like, positively you can, like, go ahead, like, talk about your religion, promote it, whatnot. But if you're, making people feel uncomfortable like that, and just negatively imposing it on others, I think that's incorrect. And I'm probably stepping the line even more here, but if there was a God, and I'm sure most of you know that I'm agnostic, and if you don't, then you do now. But if there was a God, I think that he would rather us just get along and be nice to each other. Doesn't matter, like, what we believe in, as long as we're respectful to another person. Like, I don't care if you're Islam, I don't care if you're, Jewish. If you treat me with respect, I'll treat you with respect back. Like, it doesn't matter to me. Like, that's your life, that's personal, like, that's you. And then when you interact with me, you're a human being, and that's it. You know what I mean? But anyway, I'm gonna finish my rant here. I can't edit, so it's literally gonna be 13 minutes long, and I have, like, shitty internet, so it'll probably not even upload. But yeah, you guys nothing. Okay, bye.